Smart Muses and another edition of Monday Musings. Yes, precious, we are doing some Monday Musings today, and it is none other than narcissists and sociopaths. Why do I say this? Because a lot of questions have come up during my narcissist streams about, well, how is that different from a psycho? How's that different from a a sociopath? Well, guess what? If that's what you've been wondering, today is your day, by golly, because we are going to be going through the differences between a narcissist and a sociopath and a nice quick review of what these even are. Why am I so obsessed with this? For no reason whatsoever. No, there is a very good reason. If you've ever worked a job, if you've ever been in music, especially classical music, but I guess all professional music, if you've dealt with some social media issues, if you've dealt with celebrities, or even interacted with celebrities, or trying to figure out maybe what's going on with Hollywood and entertainment right now, well, this kind of things, they can give you some insight. Sadly, I have experienced a sociopath, and boy, was that creepy. I've said before, with the narcissist, the one that is the worst, the malignant narcissist, where there's some crossover psychopaths. It's very, very close, but we're going to see the difference. Hey, look who it is. It is none other than Chrysanthus here with the wrench, one of my cousins, a fellow flower. Always good to see you here, and everyone that will be watching in the replay and that will be coming in today. Please leave a comment and let me know what you think about this. Disclaimer, I am not a psychologist. I am an anthropologist, but not a psychologist. So my sources will be cited, and as always, if you are experiencing any issues, serious issues related to this, go see a professional or reach out to some loved ones. Because of my experience with a sociopath, yeah, I had to go to some therapy. Oh, heck yes. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all, because it really does some awful things to your self-esteem, and just seeing how awful another human being can be. Really, really terrible. Look who it is. It's Nina Infinity Gaming. Hey, Teresa, can't say, but this topic is very interesting. Leave a like. Yes, yes, please, precious. Yes. And everyone, please, please subscribe to Nina and her, I guess, Nina Infinity Gaming, her gaming channel. She's got lots of really good content. And if you want something positive, please watch her on Fridays, especially. She does Good News Friday. Thank you for being here. Yeah. The sociopath I worked with was a musician. So everyone out there who thinks I'm talking about them, I'm not. Unless you happen to be a conductor, then I'm probably not talking about you when I talk about my experience with a sociopath. But yeah, narcissist, absolutely. I think that's very, very common. And as we've said before, there are various degrees of them. But let's go ahead and get into some definitions here, because that's what I do. I am by trade a teacher for most of my career. I have also been an author. Well, I don't know. I don't talk about that too much, but yes, I am a writer, a real professional writer, but I haven't published for a very long time. I haven't published in a major publication, rather, but I did do lectures, etc. So this is part of who I am. I have worked with ages as young as 3 months old all the way up to 83. So it's always a good time. Oh no, Chrysanthus, what? You aren't talking about me? That's a relief. Yes. Well, narcissists can be close to normal human beings, but sociopaths, yeah, no. Now, there are sociopaths I think that we're all aware of in the public sphere, and I might be referring to them every now and then. And please, as always, let me know if the sound and everything is okay, because sometimes I don't know, especially when I am on a solo stream. Let's go ahead and start my presentation. We're going to work with none other Then Cambridge Dictionary. What is the definition of a sociopath? Well, a sociopath is a person who is completely unable or unwilling to behave in a way that is acceptable to society. Now, we're not talking about maybe that person at the dinner table or in a restaurant who's way too loud, or somebody that does a bodily function in public and laughs. That we're not talking about that kind of unacceptable. We're talking about law and order. We're talking about basic normalcy. We're not talking about eccentricity. You sound great. Well, thank you, Nina. Thank you. Everything sounds good. Howdy, folks. Hello, Michael's Asylum. Yes. So a person who is completely unable or unwilling. When they are unable, that is a thing where you're getting into a diseased state of mind. There are people that are just genuinely unable to, but unwilling as well. Chrisanne says, does a bodily function? That's a way of putting it. I'm trying to be a lady. You know, you've seen it. People that fart in public. It's like pass gas. It's like, okay. That's not what I mean when I say acceptable to society. Or drinking too much and making a fool of themselves. That's not what I am referring to, as we shall see. So that is the definition of a sociopath. What is the definition of a narcissist? This is also according to the dictionary definition, a person who has an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. Much less sinister than a sociopath and less dangerous for the most part. And the key word is excessive interest. There is a normal way for a human being to love themselves in a healthy way. You should love yourself. You should love your body. You should love who you are, what your talents are. All of those buzzwords that unfortunately have gotten a bad rap because of the weird way society has gone. But it's actually good to love yourself. We're talking about an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves, such to the point that it affects things in your real life. So that's a narcissist. Narcissists are very common. Sociopaths, I was about ready to say they're not, but do we really know? I know one. As always, I cite my source. I am not a psychologist, but I play one on TV, or neither do I play one on TV. I'm not one. So here's where I get my source. In my bullet points and my notes, I will be talking through some of the main points, but of course, not the entire article. I want you to read it. So here's just some general characteristics of a sociopath. A disregard for the law and engaging in acts that can lead to arrest. That is the difference. What I was saying, acceptable to society, talking about the law, things that can arrest you, things that hurt people, things that can put you in prison. Disregard for the law and engaging in acts that can lead to arrest. Socially unacceptable in that sense. Using deceit to forge relationships or to swindle others of their time and money. You may know someone that's deceitful, maybe even deceitful to form relationships, but not in a creepy, overt, disturbing and harmful way, truly harmful way. But they will use deceit to forge relationships and swindle people, others of their time and money. Yeah. And time is precious. I had a situation where someone was just so disregarding of not just my time, but of my family's. And those of you that know some of the difficulties we've been going through, we got a lot of sick people in my family. If you start manipulating me through messing with the time with that's going to affect my very sick family members' well-being. It's going to not go well. But yeah, time and money. No problem swindling you out of your money. The elderly, the people online. Okay. Oops. I thought that was a new comment, but it was not. So they will use deceit in that sense. Having a persistent inability to plan ahead. That might be me in some ways. Procrastination, other things that are relatively normal and can be indicative of other issues. That's not what we're talking about here. A persistent inability to plan ahead, showing a poor, non-committal attitude toward work. Oh boy. Yeah, they want all the accolades, they want all the money, they want all the praise, but they don't want to actually do anything for it, or they'll expect you to do it for them, or they'll do it through manipulation, lying, scheming, breaking the law. Disregarding financial obligations. That's the fancy way of saying no sense of money, no sense of paying the bills. But of course, it's not really their fault. Check this one out. Having no remorse after physically or emotionally hurting another person. Having no remorse after physically or emotionally hurting another person. It's bad. That's not normal. That's why when I tell people, if you find yourself around someone with these traits, stay away. I was in a working situation with a sociopath. I don't want to, for legal reasons, to say the laws that were being broken. Like I said, because of the nature of the situation, I'm not able to speak of it. But yeah, you see it, you get out of there. After you've, of course, done your due diligence for reporting to the police, the cops, or whatever. Holy crud! Nina Infinity! I have a super chat from Nina Infinity. This is an important and fascinating topic. Also, congrats on being monetized. So well deserved. Girlfriend. That's like 12 US dollars. I don't give a crap. That's amazing. I mean, any super chat is amazing for me. Oh my gosh, girlfriend. Thank you. Thank you so much. Definitely not a good thing associating with sociopath. Can be very scary. Yes. Yes. Love you. Love you, Nina. I'm so glad that I actually was able to interact with you finally on a live stream because we've all been so busy lately. So busy. Yeah. So sweet of you, Nina. Absolutely. For this, Nina Infinity, my dear friend, you get a rose. Thank you very much. And for those of you maybe that have been through this, if once you've gotten monetized, it's very moving for me when I get super stickers and super chats. It it just blows my mind, and it's just so incredible that we're all helping each other out and showing appreciation. So thank you. You're so welcome. Yeah, son of a son of a gun, girl. We've been through a lot, haven't we? Yeah, it's been yeah. All right. So back to psycho things now that we've had our love in. So having no remorse after physically or emotionally hurting another person. For the most part, you will be finding a emotional hurt more often. I hope you don't have physical situations, but yes, they will do that. All right. And I should say also when they hurt you, maybe physically or emotionally, that can also be with your livelihood. They will try to sabotage your livelihood. All right, now let's look at a narcissist. Now, you might wonder why arrogant's bigger than the other ones. It was because the way I typed. Sorry. But yeah, narcissists, they're arrogant, strong lack of empathy. They don't care. They don't care. Constant need for admiration. Keyword constant. We all love getting admiration. Anyone that's otherwise is a big fat liar. But constant need for admiration. Heightened sense of self-importance. Ugh, we see that, don't we? I'm so important. I just can't, I just got to tell you all today how what I am doing is so stunning and brave. And without me, well, I'm just so glad that what I'm doing is so important. Or for me, it would be, I can't believe I'm such a great soprano. It's just, when I sing, it just makes the angels weep. Envy. Dun dun dun. Towards others supposedly doing better. And I like to say supposedly because with narcissists, it doesn't have to be real. It does not have to be real. Supposedly. That's why they can be very creepy to deal with. You're just minding your own business. You don't even know you're causing this person to be triggered by your success. Oh, here's an example. Me sitting there gushing is like, oh, I got a super chat. I was so excited and all that. Well, let's just imagine someone we're listening and we're like, she knows I'm in the chat. She knows that I want to get monetized. She knows. She's just rubbing it in. That would be someone like supposedly doing better. And of course, that's not even what I'm thinking. Can be also someone getting a promotion, can be somebody, I don't know, getting married, someone getting a mistress, I don't know, getting a new car. But envy, and remember, envy is different than jealousy. Jealousy, there's issues with jealousy, but envy is you not just do you want what someone else has, but you will want to take it from it, like, from that person. It will go to a whole other level of acquiring what that person has. And that can be manifest also with you have a crush on someone. That person likes someone else and they get together. So you do everything you can to break them up. Happens in soap operas all the time. Chris Sant says, gotta love all those self-important types. Oh yeah. You make me cry, you psycho. Jojo, yeah. I've joked before that I'm really just a psycho and a sociopath and I'm just playing you all. But no, I'm not. People have seen me in real life and stuff. I'm a real person. I'm not really a rose, and I'm not a psychopath. I actually have a very strong sense of right and wrong. If I believed in astrology, I would say part of it was my Taurus attitude. Sometimes I just think it's a me attitude. I have a feeling towards justice. I'm very left-brained. Though technically I should be right-brained because I'm talented musically. Baseless, keyword, baseless assumptions that others are envy of their accomplishments. So there you go. I'm sure someone's envious of what I'm doing. They just can't believe that I have a new red car. Actually, true story, I do. It's an amazing. It's a Lincoln Corsair. My neighbor is definitely envious of that. So I'm gonna show off that car. I'm gonna shine it. I'm gonna, drive it by and make the car rev up because I'm sure that person's envious. Obsession with success, power, looks, and exorbitant wealth. Keyword obsession. Everyone wants to be successful. People want power to a certain degree. I want to be pretty. I have nice curly hair. The Miss Martin Muses thing that's based on my profile. Looks and exorbitant wealth. Like, I'm not just going to get rich. I'm going to be like super rich. All will love me. Obsession. Remember, these are things that are really obnoxious, can be harmful, but not on the level of what a sociopath does. This is within the norms of society. This is something that rhymes with a witch and something that rhymes with a nashmole. You just kind of don't like hanging around them. You don't want to be with them. You don't want to even emulate them. They're obnoxious, but they're not evil. They're not like sociopaths. Exploitative personality. You know, so there is some exploitation going on, regardless of who gets trampled on. So yeah, you will try to exploit people. You will want to climb that ladder, but you won't like run over with a car or something to that effect. And by the way, people, in the audience and those that will be listening on the replay, you can like the super chats, and that helps me with the algorithm. That's a new thing. So if you wouldn't mind liking that, yeah, you made me cry. That I remember. Oh dear, I make people cry. I make myself cry. And let's go ahead and continue. Now we're going to do a compare and contrast. Now that we know what the two are, sociopath, antisocial. Antisocial, not in the sense that I'm a little antisocial. Like, I've started to hate people the older I get. I'm like, I don't want to be in a crowd. I don't want to go to a big football game and be around all these people that are noisy. I don't want to go to parades. I just want to sit at home and be a hermit, whatever. Not that kind of antisocial. Antisocial in the sense of not going along with society's norms. So that's what a sociopath is. Antisocial. What is a narcissist? Selfish. So a narcissist will be selfish about things, but not antisocial about it. So you see someone being selfish, it's like, I don't like you. I don't like you being selfish. But that is not antisocial. A sociopath manipulates others for pleasure. Ooh, that's a weird one. When you see people enjoy hurting others, when you have a normal human being and someone hurts your feelings or does something that's harmful and you explain it to them, a normal person will go, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. What can I do to make it right? A sociopath gets pleasure out of it. It's like what makes them tick by manipulating others and manipulating things around them. In the workplace, you'll see this, but also in intersocial situations. In contrast, a narcissist will manipulate others to feed their ego. So they don't like get pleasure out of hurting someone. They get the pleasure upon themselves. I almost said something that could be taken wrong. You have fed my ego, and feeding my ego makes me happy. So that's why they manipulate others. A sociopath just enjoys it. A sociopath has no empathy or remorse. They never feel sorry for what they've done. On a whole other level of what you might encounter with a narcissist. no empathy, and no remorse. I don't care that I just destroyed your entire life. No remorse. This is why they can't be rehabilitated. This is why they're so scary. This is why they're antisocial. Sometimes justice happens and they end up in jail, but not too often because they don't necessarily commit a crime. Chrisant says, careful of the phrasing there, Miss Bar. I know I was very careful. I started to go somewhere. This is so true. Yes. Hello, Nicholas Earl. Thank you for being here. Yes. No empathy or remorse. I think I can say an example in a minute, but let's look at what the contrast is with a narcissist. May feel some empathy or remorse. So a narcissist is capable of feeling it. What makes narcissists weirdos is how they deal with remorse. Often remorse will trigger narcissistic injury, which is a problem that I did a big video about, a big live stream. So if you want to see more about narcissistic injury, so they're capable of feeling empathy. They're capable of feeling remorse. They have those emotions. Nicholas Earl says, Dennis Reynolds, I use as a comedy comparison, but is actually the definition of a sociopath. Hmm. Well, there you go. Yeah, a lot of sociopaths in politics, in sports, in loads of other areas. Michael's Asylum says Logan Paul rips people off, makes nonsensical apologies, and then comes up with a new scam. Narcissistic sociopath. Yes, and that is actually a thing. A bit of a combination. You will find this among social media influencers. I warn people, be careful. Be careful that you don't lose yourself in this social media game. A sociopath will have legal and personal problems due to their behavior. They'll get themselves in jail. They'll get lawsuits. Personal problems due to their behavior. They'll lose their family. They'll lose their interpersonal relationships. They'll eventually lose their job. Sociopaths usually get caught out eventually. What really creeped me out about the situation with the sociopath that I had when he was breaking a huge social norm, he didn't try to hide it. That's what creeped me out. Part of me is like, if you're trying to hide what you're doing, I can understand that. But not? Oh, no, 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 no. That was really messed up. Didn't care even who saw him do it. It was like almost daring someone to do something about it. Legal and personal problems due to their behavior. While a narcissist is focused on looking successful. So a narcissist mostly will not do that. They will not publicly flaunt social norms. They want to appear great. They want accolades. They want to keep up this front to feed that cycle of feeding their ego. Sociopath will not. A sociopath has no regard for other people. Zero. Nil. Nada. While A narcissist is concerned about what others think of them, which is a bit of a paradox because they're so busy praising themselves and doing all these things to feed their ego, yet at the same time they're worried about what people think of them. When you see a narcissist social media influencer, you'll see the pattern. Someone that is a narcissist constantly wanting people to praise them, praising themselves, fishing for compliments. Okay, we all fish for compliments now and then, but in an excessive manner. They are concerned with what others think of them. Sociopaths don't care. I don't care what anyone thinks. Michael Asylum says narcissists will often try to muddle or alter the social norms to fit their behavior. Uh-huh. I can think of several examples that I'm not going to mention right now, but I believe we all know. I believe we do. Hello, it's Pacific 414. Thank you for being here. We're talking about the differences between a narcissist and a sociopath. So to go back to the comparison with the sociopath, no regard for other people, don't care. Genuinely doesn't care, not just pretending they don't care. Concerned about what others think of them. That's what a narcissist does. Actually, a narcissist will be the kind of person saying, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. A sociopath doesn't even get to that point to pretend they don't care. By telling me you don't care, you're telling me you care. Sociopaths will not do this. Speaking of someone who is not a sociopath, it is Zax. Hello. Thank you for being here. We are talking about sociopaths versus narcissists. I know in some of my live streams, I've been going on and on about the different kinds of narcissists and how dangerous they are. And they can be dangerous to your mental health. But give me a narcissist over a sociopath any day. Michael's Asylum says these psychology streams are a bit off the beaten path, but more interesting than what's going on in pop culture. Ah, why thank you. Well, that's why I do them. I enjoy this. I enjoy sharing my research and my experiences. Veiled though they must be, as I said, for legal reasons. Hey, Pacific. Yes, everyone's saying hello. Everyone loves each other here at Miss Martin Muses. I love y'all too. Thank you for being here. I'm in a really weird situation right now because I am dog sitting. And this dog is so adorable. I'm not a dog person necessarily, but oh my gosh, I get to have a dog for a week and we are just having so much fun, but it is like having a toddler. It's like having a toddler. Like today I went and got him a puppuccino. It was so cute. So I'm feeling the love. I've got puppy love. Turns out I have some narcissistic tendencies, says Michael Silent. Well, I would say we all do. We all do. What I have to examine my conscience about is, am I allowing it to become a motivation in my life to the point where it becomes perhaps a vice? It's natural to love yourself. It's when it goes too far. So here's a little bit of a summary of the similarities. Similarities versus contrast. So this is what they have in common. Lack of empathy, lacking in morality. Though we said before, the difference between the morality of a narcissist and the morality of a sociopath is different. The lack of morality in a sociopath is antisocial to the point of breaking the law, breaking social norms well beyond politeness or rudeness. They're not rude. It That's not what I say when I say outside of social norms. I'm talking big time. Lacking in morality for a narcissist is around the arrogance, the selfishness, the climbing over others to get the compliments all for themselves, but that is what they do have in common. There is a lack of morality. That's why you can't really reason with them. Like, I have a certain morality, and I know some other people that do too in our circle, but I don't wanna call them out if they're not here. Maybe one of them might give some examples if they're on here ever as a guest, that there is right and there is wrong, and there are levels of right and wrong, but one of the ones that's really important to me is truth. Is it true? And if it's not true, if you are putting it forward as true, then it is wrong. The other thing that's very important to me morally is kindness. Even your worst enemy deserves kindness. Now, that doesn't mean that you coddle them, but it means that you treat them with dignity and you never get down to their level. That's my morality, among other things. For that, tune into Catholic Explaining now and then. So, no qualms. No qualms about scheming against and controlling others to suit their agendas. So, yeah, you will see a narcissist scheme and try to control others, try to suit their agenda, and whatever it is. But a sociopath will go well and beyond to the scary territory. And boy, can they turn on the charm. Sociopaths are very charming people, often. And so is a narcissist. They can be very flattering. They're very charismatic. That's why you'll see sociopaths in positions of power. You might find them running the orchestra, running the music department, running, I don't know, owning a football team. I don't know. I speak about what I know in music, but being the principal of a school, being the CEO, they're charismatic. Politicians, oh my gosh, politicians. Though I've always wondered how non-charismatic ones. I have one in mind right now, but I don't know how they do it, but that's okay. Look at everyone saying hello to each other. Yes, precious. So that is where they are the same. And a money line. I love money lines. Sociopaths may be narcissistic, but not all narcissistic people are sociopaths. That's the answer to the question that has come up in the chat sometimes. Isn't this a sociopath? Isn't this a narcissist? Maybe, maybe not. And Michael's Asylum said about a narcissistic sociopath. That is a territory as well. I like to say narcissistics are pains in the buttocks. Sociopaths are, think Hannibal Lecter, but he's not Hannibal Lecter. But stay away from them as though they're Hannibal Lecter. Remember, I am not a psychologist. I just play on TV. If that helps you. Though in the case of sociopaths and narcissists, I say get away. Like I said, get away. It's Michael Myers. They're coming to get you. And if you are forced to interact with them on the weather level. Weather people are the people in my life that you only talk about the weather. You bump into them. Hey, how you doing? Oh my gosh, that rain. Oh my gosh. Or do you hear there's a tornado? Wow, there's a tornado over in Ohio or somewhere. Or check out that earthquake. Can you believe it? Yeah, earthquake. Yeah. Never go deeper than that. I used to say maybe talk about your sports team, but people can be really scary about that. Zach says, based on that criteria, hey, I have a rule about this, but I'm still going to read it because I know that this is done in fun, unless I hear otherwise. Based on that criteria, Flaccid Phoenix isn't a sociopath. That's a relief. Yes. If he were, he would not be able to do what he does. Remember, they are not really functioning people. They give the illusion of being so. Here's an example of a sociopath. Public figure, so I'm okay, but I'm not going to mention the person's name. Just keeps getting fired. Why do you keep getting fired? I'm so talented. Why do we, got fired? Everyone's against me. And when you look at why the person was fired, yeah, they will have their real lives ruined, whether by going to jail, losing their job, losing their family, because what they believe as morality is outside the social norm, and they have zero empathy. That they're Nader 48th. Oh, okay. Am I did I miss something? Are you talking about sports? I hope you are, because I'm kind of ignorant about it. Sorry. I like soccer. I follow the Premier League. I'm a Nottingham Forest fan because I'm shallow. It's Robin Hood. I follow them for Robin Hood. But as far as really delving into sports, especially American sports, it's just not my territory. It's always in fun. Yes, yeah. Because one of my rules are you don't talk about people unless they're here to defend themselves. And even if they are, I'll probably shut it down because I am not a drama stream. I don't do blood sports. I don't do that. Actually, I'm the anti that. Nicholas Earl says, nope, talking about tornadoes in the South. We say nader. Oh, you see, there we go. But I will admit when I don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, talk about the weather. Sometimes it's a bit of a joke in my circle of friends here in real life is you go, squirrel. And that's almost like a hint of we need to change the subject. This is getting to whatever. But they're obviously not sociopaths or narcissists. Sociopaths may be narcissistic. Not all narcissistic people are sociopaths. Here is the source. I always cite my source. Don't let me get on a rant about people who do not cite their sources. So if you want to read more and go into more details and go down that rabbit hole, please see this, verywellmind.com. So let me go ahead and stop the screen. Boom. I remember on Sherlock Holmes, the TV show, the one with Benedict Cumberbatch, he says that he's a high-functioning sociopath. I guess he is. He's a fictional character. But help me, if you did see that TV show, didn't he, though, have some sympathy and an ability to feel badly? Most of the time he didn't, but it wasn't that far. But then he's fictional, so he can do whatever he wants. What's the difference between all this and a psychopath, though? Yeah, apologize for. I have to have a drink to help my voice. Yeah, that's a whole other territory. I have done some on psychopaths. So if you want to see that, maybe go ahead and have a look at that as well. Chris Sant says, yeah, I don't think he was a full sociopath. No. House had sociopathic traits. The charisma rather. Well, and he did let things affect his life. Yeah, he might be one. But how I knew that I was dealing with a sociopath and not a narcissistic a-hole was when he was flaunting something antisocial and not hiding it. That's the key. And run far away if you ever find yourself around a sociopath. Because one thing you don't want to become any kind of a target, but you don't want to end up going to jail with them. Okay. Yeah, if you are working with one, turn in your notice. Well, was House really charismatic? He had a very devil-may-care personality. Yeah. Yeah, but look at all the people that liked him, that wanted to be friends with him, all the women that loved him. It's the whole women love bad boys trope. And you have to have some form of charisma to be the kind of doctor you are. That's why a lot of doctors are real jerks. On the other hand, I would far rather have a jerk operating on me than somebody that was too focused on the touchy-feely, let's all dance through the forest and sing songs of love and joy. No, I want the dude that knows where he's cutting and why. He can be as curt as he wants to be. Crescent says, well, women love bad boys and the ones that don't pay attention to them. That's a whole other can of worms. You always want what you can't have. I am putting together a video from a discussion of Faramir and Eowyn, which is a perfect example of someone finally figuring out that what they wanted was not what they really wanted. Good times. I love Lord of the Rings. It's a masterpiece. Speaking of the Lord of the Rings, tomorrow night it will be the return of the Alpha Chad of Middle-earth himself, High King Theanor, the man who caused all the trouble in the whole Silmarillion. He made those Silmarils and did that oath and all that. Not what they said in the stupid Rings of Power show. How dare they? No. High King Theanor, he will be here tomorrow night to discuss Boromir. Boromir in the books, not in the movies. So it's going to be a very strict Miss Martin is going to put on her teacher hat and clamp down. We are not allowed to talk about the movie, except maybe till the end, because we want to focus on the books. Because sometimes, even if you've read a book 1,000 times, if you have a really, really unbelievable and amazing adaptation of your book and a characteristic of rather having been brought to life by an amazing actor like Sean Bean and done so well, trust me, every time I get to the end of the Fellowship of the Ring, I bawl. That whole thing with Boromir. And in the books, it was very moving too, but it was so well done. But that's not completely what was in the books. You will get a different Boromir in the books, the same way you'll get all characters. So we're going to talk about him as he is presented there. Let me see. Zach says, though through my work, I've spent more time around psychopaths and sociopaths than anyone probably should. On a surface level, they can be boringly normal. Interesting. If you don't feel comfortable sharing, maybe in a DM, tell me, what do you do? My goodness. I deal with a lot of narcissists in music. It's a catch-22 because you would kind of suck at being a musician if you didn't have a lot of those. But, you don't want to be a horrible person either. When you talk about psychopaths, which is different, obviously, than sociopath. Maybe I'll do another one of those. Look at the Raider, the BTK killer. On the surface, family man, 2 kids, led the Boy Scouts, was president of his local church. Yeah. Very dull, just living his life in a mid-sized town. But he was doing those horrendous things. He had this reign of terror on this town. Yeah, psychopaths are something else. We use them interchangeably. Maybe one of these days I'll do an analysis with Galadriel as or I shouldn't say Galadriel, I'll go Galadriel because she's the fake one from the Rings of Power. I think she's a sociopath in that show, but sometimes I wonder if she's a psycho. You wanna talk about just this inability to have any empathy, norms. I don't know. Maybe I'll just go through and name all the things that she's a creeper. That's why was finally able to watch the show because it was so different. It didn't ruin things for me. I was afraid it was gonna be like Jake Skywalker, and it took me a very long time to just be able to wipe that from my mind, but Rings of Power is so different, it didn't mess with my Lord of the Rings. I'll send you a DM. Thank you. I don't wanna cause any issues. Yeah. You gotta find out he, like, works for an assassin's guild, like in Skyrim. Alrighty, so, as a reminder, if there's anything that you want to talk about as far as the topic goes, or we could do a little bit of free for all, it's up to you. I have gone through what we have with a sociopath versus a psychopath. I'm sorry, sociopath versus a narcissist. I don't know, it's a question that keeps being on my mind. Are we having more of these, or are we just more aware of them? Is it the chicken, or is it the egg, or is it the egg and the chicken? Is it social media? Even today, I saw a whole bunch of stories that back in the day I would never have seen because the news was what 30 minutes, Tom Brokaw at 6 o'clock, and what they decided to tell about the whole friggin' planet with this information. Who knows? Hey, so Boromir in the books tomorrow night, and maybe if it works out, I'll keep doing things like in the books, in the books. Now, I am a supporter of the Lord of the Rings adaptation. Some people try to tear down the adaptation when they do this. I don't think they're actually doing it in good faith. That's my opinion, because most people that love Tolkien are very reasonable people, very scholarly people. We're not going to try to compare it to oranges. There's apples, there's oranges. Everyone knows what an adaptation is versus a completely faithful telling of the book. But of course, the book will always be superior. I did a video about Tolkien, author of the century, based on the lectures of Tom Shippey about why Tolkien is so amazing. But I do get very, very cranky with some things I've been seeing lately of people trying to pit Tolkien against George Martin, which is ridiculous. Anyone that knows anything about what George R. R. Martin has said, he's an incredible supporter of Tolkien, and they've taken things out of context. And I've been seeing people try to pit Dune against Lord of the Rings. It's like, what? They're just engagement farming. I know that the books The Lord of the Rings is better than the movies. And it's totally different what they're doing with the Rings of Power. Michael's Asylum says we are having more of them. Social media is instilling narcissism and sociopathy into the youngsters. Youngsters that would have been exposed to it normally wouldn't have been. Yes, you see, that's what we're trying to study because this is the first generation that has been raised with social media. And I can't even begin to tell you what we're seeing in schools. There's a reason why teachers, including me, are like, we are out of here now. Because not only do you have sociopathy, you have psychopathy on top of everything else that's going on, top of the normal issues. I and sometimes people say the solution is Well, take away your kid's cell phone. I got a story to tell you about that. Oh, yeah, there were parents that would just brag, "I don't let my kid have a cell phone." And yeah, their friends were loaning it to them in school. You'd see them with their friend's cell phone. "I don't let my kid on social media." Well, they had one of their friends set them up a thing on social media. I don't know what the answer is. Michael Salem said it doesn't help that these people are rewarded handsomely for the malignant behavior. Yes. You see, that's also been something that's been a problem with my life. You sit around and you tell people, don't do the wrong thing. No, the ends do not justify the means ever. And they're saying, but look at that person. This has been going on since ancient times. You read the Old Testament, especially in the Bible. Oh my gosh, did they feel it? It's like, we've been faithful to you, God. We've been all doing all these things, and look, we're keep getting murdered and enslaved. And the parable of the prodigal son, I am so on the side of the older brother who was a good brother, a good son, ran the family business, whatever, with calves, whatever it was doing. And then he had the lousy brother who just went around and spent all his inheritance on women and drinking and all that. And no one celebrated the brother who was dutiful, stayed at home and loving and all that stuff. But when the other guy who was boozing it up changes his mind and says, "This sucks. I'm going to go and I'm going to repent," he gets a big party with the fatted calf. And interestingly enough, Jesus' kind of solution is, we'll be happy for him. I love you too. But man, that's really hard. Really hard. Or I tell people, you're not going to get ahead by doing it. And then they do. I'm thinking in music and stuff. Don't try to badmouth someone and sabotage them. That's not the right thing to do. And then that's the person that gets the role. That's the person that gets the promotion. Ah, Zax, I've noticed the same thing with the Tolkien versus videos recently. Yes. Oh, I've got issues because I think that these individuals, they know the truth. So why are they pretending they don't? With a few exceptions. I think there are some people of goodwill. We talked about that on Sporking Stream. I did about, I inhaled and ranted for about 10 minutes about it. I have real issues with George Martin on 1,000 different levels, but not on what he has to say about The Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. If you've seen that quote that's been going around, for those of you that may not have known this, or it was a quote about him saying, "I wanted to know about Aragorn's tax policies." It's like, yes, he did. And the whole thing is, he was saying that in the whole context of, so when I did my work, that's why I put that into Game of Thrones. He loved The Lord of the Rings. He says The Lord of the Rings is like the best top 5 books of the 20th century. It's one of the greatest books ever written, the greatest book he had ever read. But there were things he wanted to see. So when he did his fantasy, he did it differently. And he explicitly said, it would not have been appropriate for Tolkien to have put that in Lord of the Rings because it was something completely different. But everyone just took that little quote and ran with it and never cited it. Gosh, I'm going to start ranting now. It's going to get dangerous. Yeah, this is a bit of a free-for-all now, so if we're getting off topic, that's what's going on here. But yes, technically second, says Michael's Asylum. The 1990s kids were raised in chat rooms where this stuff started blossoming. You are correct. Oh my gosh. Fights would break out, and you're like, what happened? It was something that happened in a chat room. You know what's really creepy, though, is when adults were doing that. And it's like, man, adults are being scheming and scamming. What was it? InstaChat? I remember that was huge when that happened back in the day. Yeah, it changed everything. Maybe there's people out there that would think that TV was the beginning of the end. Maybe even the radio. Click desperation. Yeah, I think so. I think that in many people's cases, it is clickbait. Yeah, click farming, engagement farming, because what happens with something like that, you throw that out there and then you say, yeah, George R. R. Martin's stupid. So you get two kinds of people. You get the kind of people that will come in and say, yeah, he sucks. And then you'll also get people engaging saying, wait, that's not true. This is what he does. But the original poster of the post got what they wanted. They got the engagement. I saw a few people do it in good faith, so I'm kind of working with that. If you don't know any better, how would you know? And if you're scrolling through and it makes you mad because we love Tolkien. No one love no one loves Tolkien more than me. Of course there are more people, but he is the king when it comes to fantasy. Everyone admits it, including George R. R. Martin, including all of the great fantasy people. They they bow down before him. It's ridiculous. What is he? He's the father of fantasy. And I love the other quote that Robert E. Howard is the crazy uncle of fantasy. Yeah. That's another thing, the psychology of dishonesty. I hesitate to use the word liar because liar, that means that it's done intentionally. And many people, it's not done intentionally. But if you want to make a point, it has to be rooted in truth. The first 2 seasons of Black Mirror have interesting takes on social media taken to extremes. Oh, well, I'd like to see that. You know what? There was a spinoff of the Battlestar Galactica new TV show called Caprica? Was it Caprica? That was talking about that. And it was really creepy too because part of it was someone who had lost their family and kind of brought them back through this, and it became some weird AI thing. Yeah. AOL, Yahoo, IRC. Oh gosh, back in the day, Caprica was horror bad. Yeah. However, they've still made some good points. That show could have been so amazing. They just went a little too weird. But the whole idea of these kids living in a virtual world, well, we're already there. And something that parents, teachers, we don't see. And it's their reality. Sometimes it's my reality. I will get very upset sometime by things that I see on social media. And I'm a friggin' adult with experience behind me. How can an 11-year-old process that? Capricorn with the Order of Cyclones. Yeah. Like I said, it could have been really good. Could have been really good. Oh. Well, I don't know if I'll need to wrap up this party because I am going to be on a Spork of Ice and Fire. We are going through Fire and Blood. Fire and Blood. From the beginning. So if you are a fan of House of the Dragon, the TV show, these are the streams that you need to do because we're going to start with Aegon the Conqueror, which will be a new series. And I think this one goes up to Aegon the Conqueror and Maglor. I hope I didn't mispronounce that. The evil one. Yeah. Martin's created a great world. I'm actually getting to the point where if he doesn't finish A Song of Ice and Fire, I can live with that because going backwards is so much fun. And there's been some really plausible theories. Stieg has presented it on the stream because he is from Norway and this is his mythology. He's like, this is Ragnarok. And of course, Martin has spoken about his influences, including those, as well as things like the Wars of the Roses. And the historian in me loves it because, War of the Roses, all that stuff that happened in England, the Renaissance, the Reformation, and then how it affected the United States. That was my studies in my undergrad. Michael Simon said, part of me wants to go off into the wilderness and just grow my own food. Well, I'll tell you, I am so relating to the hermits. You would find these people that would be like, "I'm gonna go off. I'm going to take the veil." And I'm thinking, "Why the hell would you do that?" Now I'm like, "I get it. I really get it." What, Saint Anthony going off into the desert, or Saint Kevin going to hang out in the caves outside Glendalough. It's like, I'm done. I'm going over here to pray to be with Jesus and, all that. And it's like, no, just leave me alone. We just need to pray for this world. But humans were supposed to just hang around and grow their own food too. It's very unnatural. Living in cities is one of the most unnatural things. Industrialization is not natural. Why do you think when you have things like Thanksgiving or you make a birthday cake from scratch, you get that satisfaction? Because that's what you're supposed to do. I've left Game of Thrones behind, no interest in that franchise anymore. I understand. Understandable. Especially those that where the TV show was their thing. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. It it's just so fascinating though, the fact that what so far they've been doing with House of the Dragon and reading and studying Fire and Blood, maybe they'll be able to erase it. I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to wonder if they might do that. And of course, if Martin ever finishes the freaking books, I have real issues with him. Like I said, I got things to be mad about that man with. I promise you. But not about his views on Tolkien. What can you say? One of the greatest books ever written? Yeah, I can agree with that. Sounds good to me. Or one of the greatest ones of the 20th century. And the fact that it became, he became the author of the century. It's very fascinating. If you haven't read that book by Tom Shippey, it's really good. Okay, obviously we're off topic, but I'm winding down. So please, if you have not, go ahead and subscribe over to Sporking, and just learn some stories. We're going to tell some stories tonight, and also, let's see, something's going on with my community moderation. I don't know. I think everything's going fine. We're all good here. So head over to Sporkings for this evening. And if you wouldn't mind liking the super chat that Nina sent, because that does help the algorithm. I am needing some watch hours. That's where I'm going. I just need some watch hours, not a lot, and then I will be absolutely completely monetized, and then we're going to have the big party of the century. A sober one though, because I'm a sober person now. So bring your virgin drinks. We're going to have the party of the century when I get those watch hours. So please, maybe watch some of my stuff, watch some of the playlists, etc. Look who is here. It is Jacob Ironside. Thank you for being here. Always good to see you. Gave me a rose. Yes. So we have Sporking, the Song of Ice and Fire tonight, Fire and Blood. And this will be great. If you don't feel like reading the whole thing, well, tune in. We'll fill you in. And then tomorrow night, Boromir in the books with none other than High King Theanor himself. That's always going to be fun. He knows this stuff inside and out. Also, and then on Wednesday night, these are my planned streams. It will be Catholic Splaining. We are going to Catholic Splain Lent. We are right dab in the middle. And Magitech Mags will be here, where we will be at Catholic Splaining Lent and all the customs associated with it. For those of you that maybe aren't participants, that's not part of your culture, you will at least see that there are fish sandwiches now at Whataburger and Sonic and all sorts of places. So take advantage. Take advantage. I always do the fish tour. Every Friday during Lent, I'll go to different restaurants to get their fish. Dairy Queen has a great fish sandwich. So there we are. So Catholic Splaining Wednesday night with Magitech Mags. We have Catholic Splained Lent before, so I hope you enjoy that. There is a link to the Spork of Ice and Fire one tonight. Michael's Asylum says, I used to be Catholic, then Mormon. Now I'm a nondescript Christian. Oh, okay. Wow, that's a quite a journey you've been on. I kind of went backwards. I was Church of Ireland, Episcopalianish, and then I joined the church. We're all on a journey. We're all on a journey, and we can all help each other out. So that's what's going to happen. And then more sociopath stuff. If you want me to go into more detail or with narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, maybe the bully boss. That's something I want to do. That is a phenomenon too. And the bully boss, not meaning like just a boss that's a jerk. That is a psychological phenomenon that you will find that is not psychopathy, etc. But it might have some. So please let me know and follow me on Twitter. So I'm going to end this party. Thank you everyone that's been here. Michael's Asylum, Zach's, Jacob Ironside, who loads of people here. Chrysanth was here. Nicholas Earl. And if I miss anyone, it is not my intention. Everything skips a lot. Pacific 414. Nina, thank you very much for being here. Always great to see you. And all of those that will be listening in the replay. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain to stay away from sociopaths if you can. And where's my outro? Here we go.